Hello and welcome to another VinPilot software tutorial. Today we are going to show you how you can set up and customize the cellar view in the VinPilot software so it really resembles your winery. So we will start from scratch, and the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to switch to the editor mode. And then by clicking plus, we can add a new wine cellar, which we will name cellar 1, and then click plus. And here we have our cellar that we can move freely wherever we want to have it, and we can scale it or also adapt the size, the width and height. And then to add tanks to that cellar, we have to click into the cellar. And then on the left-hand side, we have different types of tanks that we can select from, and also sections, but we will come back to the sections later. So I'll choose the type of tank that I want, and I drag and drop it into the cellar. And then the configuration window opens, where I can input some header data like the prefix or tank number. Every tank needs to have an individual tank number. I can also add a description if I want to. I can change the tank size in liters. I can change the tank status, but I can also do that later on. And I can select if I want to display the batch number or the tank description on the tank. So I'll select batch number, and then I click save. Up there I will have some other tabs for a configuration of the fermentation control, so to connect the tank with the controllers, but we will have different tutorials about all of that. So for now I just have my basic configuration, and if I put all the information in there, I click save. Voila. And there's my tank that I can equally move wherever I want to have it. I'll put it right there. And then I also can scale it the way I want to. And then to make things easier for me, I can simply copy and paste that tank configuration. So I do not have to drag and drop every tank into my cellar. I can just copy the similar tanks. And if I double click on that tank, I'll give it this individual number. As long as the tanks do not have an individual number, they will be light gray. So every tank really needs to have a specific number to be active. So we will add some more tanks. I also do not have to worry about putting them neatly organized into one row because I can format it later. So I just put them somewhere, and let's add some more. Voila. Okay. So now I double click on the tanks to give them their individual number. And also, I cannot give one tank the same number as another one. So every tank really has to have its own number. 9 and 10. Voila. So now I have my 10 tanks, but I want to format them to be neatly in one row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my model tank, and I click Shift. And then I select all the tanks that I want to format according to this model tank. So I'll select all of them. And then I click that Format button. And then I can select that they should match in width and height. And then I select, I want them to be formatted as a row. And voila, there I have a neat row. And to clear the selection, I can either click on them while shift, so I deselect them, or I go to my formatting menu and say clear selection. So now maybe, there's an alley between those tanks. So what I'm gonna do is I select my tank A6, I click Shift, and I select the other ones, and then I just move them a little bit to the right. Voila. Okay, and then I clear the selection. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add some more tanks, so it will be a little more realistic, and we will have some more things that I can show you. Okay, so we have now more tanks, and it's starting to get a little bit, full, so I don't really see all the details of every tank, and maybe I want to have another zoom in section. So now I select section, and I will put them over my red wine tanks. Then I name that section, I'll call it section 1. And then to be able to move that section, I have to change the layers. Voila. And then I can freely move that section and adjust it to fit over all my 8 red wine tanks. And then I move the layers again, and then this is how I save the section. So now I have a different zoom factor, so whenever I want to see only my red wine tanks, I can directly go to that section. Also from the big cellar view, I can directly select my 8 red wine tanks. This makes sense if I have a very big winery, then it's really necessary to work with different cellars and different sections, because otherwise you will not be able to see a lot of details, right? So you want to be able to have your overview, but then you also want to be able to click into different cellars and different sections to get the full resolution, to find all the details about your batches and the tanks. This way you can really organize your winery very well. So this is how you set up your winery in the VinPilot software. There will be another tutorial about how to connect the tanks with your controllers if you're using the fermentation control. But up to now, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comment section below or via email at service@vinpilot.com. See you next time.